Okay.
One, two, three.
All right.
How you doing?
Oh, girl. Today's a busy day. Today's a back to back day. Five
Yeah.
minutes in between. Call back
Mm-hmm.
soon on
Mm.
life.
Okay, he's getting called back though. That is something.
Listen, man's got you got to supplement that work. That's the artist life. Artist life.
Well, I thought it would be fun to talk about some TV psychics.
Woo.
Have you ever called a psychic?
Called a psychic?
Like the psychic hotline.
Like spend my money on a psychic?
I I'm just I mean, there's no right or wrong answer. I'm just curious because I was
No,
gonna
wait. Well, you
riff
said
on
wait.
some.
No, you said it like you've done it. Have you done
No,
it?
no, I haven't. I haven't.
Oh,
But I
okay.
was just thinking about growing up seeing those Miss Cleo
I
ads.
attacked you.
Call me now.
I don't remember.
You don't?
I do. I remember Miss Cleo, but I don't remember. Call me now. I don't remember
You don't.
that.
She would always say, "Call me now," and she'd be like, "You're worried about your boyfriend could be cheating on you. You're
Oh
not."
my God, he's
Oh
definitely
my!
cheating on you. So he's
I mean, if you are contemplating calling Miss Cleo, lock it up.
like I like that. Wait, here's a question: do you actually believe in psychics?
I don't know. Okay, so I'm very practical and I'm very like facts and figures oriented, but I will
Mm.
say the LA Woo has started to get to me.
Yo,
And
that was crept up that booty hole. You
it
slowly but
has.
surely it has chipped away at you. So
It
wait,
has. And so
say more.
I don't necessarily think that Miss Cleo, for example, who there's a documentary about her on HBO. I haven't watched it, but
Oh,
apparently there was a giant lawsuit against her, or the company that she was working for. I don't know all the details of it. I think that people that are doing like the for-profit kind of like commercialized version aren't necessarily reputable, but I feel like, you have a grandma with a sixth sense. Like I feel like that,
your
you
girl's like, yeah, baby, go in the closet and bring me that chicken leg. Bring me that. Bring me them
No,
bones
it's
over
just
here.
how your grandma would always be like, yeah, I have a feeling about something, and then the thing that they felt would just
Right,
happen. And I
right.
will say, like, as I've gotten older, and we'll talk about it in the episode, I've been having like like I'll think about someone and they'll call me,
Yeah.
or I'll like just like too many weird coincidences.
Well, see, I don't see coincidences are a total thing, but you know what how I am about manifestation, right?
How
I'm
are
like,
you?
you know, like I
I
feel like
don't
I'm
know.
very much like I'm a very positive thinker, right? Like I might be very cynical and very jaded, but I'm like, you know what? It's all gonna work out. Good things come to me and
Mm-hmm.
in abundance,
Mm-hmm.
and I do think I say this all the time. I'm like, oh, manifest it, manifesting this,
Yes.
manifesting that. And I will say this: I remember when I was living in Boston the first time, and I was working in an arts nonprofit and doing theater, which was great. I was like, Delon, do you want to be an arts administrator or do you want to be an actor? And I
Right.
said to the universe, I was like, listen, I was sitting at my desk working my 9 to 5, and I was like, listen, I want to live alone. I want to be a full time actor, make my money from acting, and I
Well,
want to travel. And
and he is doing.
that's when I booked Jersey Boys.
Wow.
And then I was on Jersey Boys for 3.5 years, and I was like, so next time you gotta be a little more specific. Because I was living in hotels, right? I was traveling
Yeah.
for working as a full time actor.
Yeah.
So I believe. My point is, I believe in some of it, but I'm not sure I believe in, to use your
And
phrase,
like calling
the for
calling a
profit of it.
person and like
Yeah,
asking them,
because
wait,
you have
there's
like these list of people in here, and I'm
oh
like,
yeah.
there
I
were
put a
this
list in
many
here.
people. There are
Oh,
this many
okay. Okay, so one
scammers.
one I have to count out or point out is Sylvia Brown. You didn't know Sylvia Brown? She was always on like
Oh,
um
Montel Jordan,
she was
Montel
always
Jordan,
on Montel Williams.
Montel Williams. There you go.
She
There
was
you go.
always on Montel Williams. Okay, wait. The funniest thing, I don't know if it was Montel Williams. It was some talk show she was on, and a woman in the audience stood up. She would always she could like channel the dead. And this woman stands up and
Yes.
she says, my husband died and we never found his body, and I just want to know that he didn't have any pain or whatever. And Sylvia's like, okay, yes, he's in water. He was face down in water and he drowned. And the woman goes, he died in 9/11. We just never found his body. And Sylvia is like, she's like, oh, well, maybe like a pipe burst in the, like, girl.
Wow. But to your point, she said enough general things that it felt like it was spot on. You put like a little bio of hers in here that I think is worth reading. Do you want to read that, friend?
Yeah, sure. So Sylvia Brown Class was an American writer and self-proclaimed medium psychic. She was regularly on Montel Williams, like Delon said, Larry King. So she would often, I guess the thing that she would do that a lot of these mediums do is they kind of read body language. So they can see when they start going certain, like they'll do things where they're like, do you have an uncle or an aunt or a cousin? Like you just go
And your
through
eyebrow
things.
goes.
And your eyebrow moves, and they're like, okay, it's a cousin, right? And then they're like, it's an S, it's a T, I'm seeing whatever. Like,
Well,
she would, yeah.
I remember her speaking really quickly too. It was like rapid fire. So you're like
something in there. She just like voms all this stuff at you.
Yeah.
And so she was often doing missing persons stuff was a big part of her thing. In 1992, she pled no contest to securities fraud. And despite having lots of negative publicity, she had a very large following up until her death in 2013. Bet you didn't see that coming, Sylvia. Did you predict that?
Can you imagine? She should have, or the securities fraud. She didn't see none of that shit coming. She just started wrapping up her things before that. You know, I do know this Teresa Caputo.
The Long Island medium?
The Long Island medium, because she had like a whole TV show. And like there was like in the aughts, there was like a moment where she was really big on like TLC or whatever.
What is with her hair? Is the hair helping her?
The hair started as like just like a helmet version of like Jennifer Aniston, and then it became like the Loch Ness monster. It became like this big poof. What is it?
It's it's like platinum blonde poof. It's very New Jersey. You know, like the housewives would have like the big bouffant.
Teased.
Yes, it's all teased, but it's like ratty, and it is
so white. I mean, like in color, and she's also white, but like it's also white. I do remember her and not believing. I didn't believe it because it was reality show based, and it feels like reality TV is always like overproduced, right? But I didn't really dig her. There's the guy that took her place is this young dude, Tyler Henry.
This young twink, isn't it?
Total twink.
Psychic twink. That should have been the name of his show.
I would watch that. So
he's 27 years old.
And he was a reality personality who appears in the reality show Hollywood Medium with Tyler Henry and Life and Death with Tyler Henry as a clairvoyant medium in 2016. I guess this was what happening. He published 2 books. Critics state that Henry's readings are performed using deceptive cold readings and hot reading techniques and not psychic powers.
Hot and cold, I think, is the thing that they're using to gauge if something that they say is landing with you. The other thing about him that I just thought, like, why is no one talking about this? His show was all about celebrities. So he would go to the celebrity's house, and then it's like, well, of course you know shit about the celebrity. You went to fucking Wikipedia before you got here. Like, you know, he's with Kim Kardashian, and he's like, you have a lot of siblings. And she's like, oh my God, I do.
Your
like,
dad
what?
knew O.J. Simpson, didn't he?
Like,
didn't
what?
he?
What are you talking about? And like, it just felt like the elephant in the room.
Yeah. Also, like, I just like celebrities are also, it's like a quid pro quo, right? Like, I need your status to make my medium shit work. And also, like, it's nice for you to be on TV and get some PR or whatever.
Yeah, I also just feel like for some reason celebrities seem to fall victim to that, because I feel like a lot of celebs have like a guru.
Oh, everyone's looking for a guru.
That hangs
Remember
out
Lauryn
with
Hill's
them.
guru stealing her money? Yes.
Exactly.
Yes.
And I feel like these are ripe to take advantage of them. There's one more in here that I don't really know much about. I want you to just scroll down.
Are you talking about this Q-tip?
Why is this
class? This man is as orange as Donald Trump. Has a light blue eyeshadow on and this enormous fake afro that's white.
It's a white. It's like sheep's wool on his head in a giant circle. His name is Gary Spivey. He's a self-proclaimed psychic healer, a spiritual healer and psychic. He's made appearances on TV, radio programs, TV shows, casino shows. He also does personal readings. I looked up just like a list of TV psychics. And when I saw him, I was like, now what is it about the hair? We have the Long Island medium doing weird things with
Yeah,
her
white
hair.
hair.
We've got him doing weird things with the hair. Are the secrets in the hair? Like, is that connected to his power?
That's the medium. they're the base. Talking to people in the sky. The medium is in that hair.
It goes through the hair.
Also, just like, I guess you have to have a gimmick, right? You have to have a look. And so like I think that's a part of it.
What would your okay, this is a pretty funny question. What would your gimmick be if you were a TV psychic? The mediums come through the beard. The beard
you know what
is
my nasty ass. You know, I'll be topless. I'll be topless, and I'll be like, I'd rub my nipples. I'd be like, oh, I'm feeling, I'm sensing. Ooh, wait, no.
Listen. Wait.
I hate you for that.
Let me fix it. Welcome back to Let Me Fix It, the podcast that says, didn't write a tagline. Francesca just
Not for the last show.
I know. I'm sorry.
For the last episode of this season.
TK stands for to come. It's like an old editing thing. And so usually when Sham and I are writing, we always write TK when there's going to be a joke, like joke TK. So I wrote this.
Let's do it in real time. Let's improv it.
Okay, welcome back.
She's so nervous. She doesn't even know.
Welcome back to Let Me Fix It, the podcast that says, call me now. I'm Francesca Ramsey. I'm an actress, a producer, a writer, and graphic designer.
And welcome to the podcast that says, that's Fred and I's favorite song. I'm DeLon Grant. I'm an actor, a singer, photographer, writer, and educator, and class. I can't believe I'm saying it, but today is the final episode of our 48 episode season of Lemme. And class, I can't believe I'm saying this, but today is the final episode of our 48 episode season of Let Me Fix It. Fran, I can't believe we've been producing this show for almost an entire year. This is crazy.
It's absolutely bonkers. This has truly been such a labor of love. We've learned so much throughout the process. And if you haven't done so already, please go back and listen to our Behind the Podcast episode where we get into the nitty gritty of making this podcast, because trust me, it is a grind. We've covered so many interesting and hilarious topics this season. But one thing that has remained consistent is our knack for predicting the future.
I mean, we should start a channel where we're mediums, like celebrities.
We're about
to tell you what's happening in your own career. It's unbelievable. I swear, every other week, guys, Fran would text me and say, "Are we psychic?" Because from day one, we decided our show. From day one, we decided our show was meant to be evergreen, meaning like anything that we came up with in episodes could stand on its own without it being of the time and immediate. We didn't want to compete with what everyone else was talking about or be forced to pump out timely episodes. So we don't pick topics that are based on what's trending or happening in the news. We just keep a running list of ideas along with suggestions from you all, which have been some beautiful suggestions that we've leaned into recently.
Yeah,
but
so
time and time again, we'll record an episode or right after it, bam, something happens in the news that's related to the episode or very specific about a celebrity in the episode we pitched, and we're dumbfounded about what's happened.
It's ridiculous. So we thought that it would be fun for our season finale episode to run down all of the things that we've manifested and fixed. Dare I say we manifixed. Hey, she's a writer. And then we're going to go ahead and give a rundown for what's in store for Let Me Fix It as we prepare to take a little break before gearing up for season 2. Do not worry. We're not leaving you. We'll be right back. Get excited. So let's dive in. This is Let Me Fix It. We manifixed it. So Dawn, I didn't name any of these. I just felt like we could just go back and forth if that works for you. Okay.
Right, totally.
And I like wrote a little blurb, but like we also remember what happened. So like it's kind of like top of your head. But I just put the dates in here so that like we could really drive some of these things home.
Yeah, totally.
Okay, great.
So one of our first topics that I think this is one of the first episodes we actually recorded, wasn't it, Fran?
It is, because we did this for Instagram Live before the show actually launched.
That's right. So, class, if you know anything, you know Fran and I are kind of obsessed with Christina Aguilera for the good and the bad. Yeah! Fred, Fred does an amazing version of that. So one of our first episodes was Christina Aguilera, From Mickey to Dirty. We released it on October 3rd last year, 2023. And we reviewed Christina's career, what we loved about her, what we thought she could fix, why wasn't she a bigger star, where was the music, and her incredible voice, obviously. We talked about burlesque in particular.
Yes.
And one of our fixes for Christina was talking about her taking her talents to Broadway. And sure enough, on October 10th, this is October 3rd.
Days after, and we recorded this long before October 3rd, mind you.
Unbelievable. There was talks of her Vegas residency, right? And then her bringing burlesque to Broadway, also starring Todrick Hall, I believe.
Yeah, I think he's, I don't know if he's still involved, but he was a producer, writer on the project. I mean, this was the first time. It was so eerie and so strange, but also it was kind of like a nice little pat on the back for us because we were like,
Yes.
we were right. We were right. She should be doing a review of all of her music. She's got a great catalog, despite, some of the albums that didn't really resonate with, like, I don't know, Lotus, I think was one of them. And like, there was a few that were just like kind of strange, but like a Vegas residency is so smart. And again, after watching Burlesque, it was cringy, but it wasn't as bad as I thought it was going to be. It wasn't bad.
It wasn't bad at all. I think I remember like looking back and going, "Oh, I enjoyed that. I can see why that was not only memorable but enjoyable." And the idea that it would become a Broadway musical, I think we said feels like low hanging fruit.
It's
like,
easy.
It's built in. It's basically like Cabaret with like a story on top of it. I mean, that's bastardization, I think, but
like it has some of the same elements, which like it feels familiar in that respect, which I think is why it will do well.
One of the other things that happened right shortly after that, remember she came out with that commercial for like DoorDash or something? What was that,
she
what was that commercial
did.
And
she was singing in it with Lotto.
With Lotto, not Big Lotto, Big Lotto, yeah.
Yes, Lotto, who famously changed her name because her name used to be Mulatto, and the girl said, "You can't be Mulatto."
This is 2024 now. Come on, now.
That is a slur.
Always has been, always will be, right?
All right, next up, we had an episode on Jussie Smollett, the gay Tupac returns, featuring Lacey Mosley. So this is important context. We recorded this in October, so this is early in our production schedule where we were batching episodes and then putting them out later. And then we put out the episode in November, top of November. Okay. So this is also, let's add, this was our first guest on the pod. So shout out to Lacey Mosley from Scam Goddess. Just days after we recorded this episode on October 19th, it was announced that Jussie Smollett was entering rehab. In a statement to TMZ, his rep said, "Jussie has had an extremely difficult past few years. Understatement of the century. He has been quietly working very hard for some time now, and we are proud of him for taking these necessary steps." Shout out to him for doing that. But the timing was so weird. Also, want to add a shout out to our girl Lacey. Her debut book, Scam Goddess, Lessons from a Life of Cons, Grifts, and Schemes, comes out September 24. So make sure to pre-order your copy. And Lacey, one thing going, black jobs, that's all Lacey, okay? One thing she's going to do is work. She is currently in production for Scam Goddess, the television show with ABC. Lacey said, "I'm going to scam my way onto every device you own. Podcast, e-reader, network TV. I know that's right." So go, Lacey.
Heck yeah, good for you, girl. I cannot wait to watch. Fans abound. I think the other thing about the Jussie Smollett episode for me was that we kind of went through the timeline of all of this scandal around, I mean, what gate did we call it? Like fake gate or whatever.
Like hate crime gate or something like that. Hate crime
gate or hate crime hoax is what we're calling it. We went through the timeline of it and it just got weirder and weirder. And we were like, obviously we don't believe any of this, but it was also kind of sad given like the way his career was going, right? It was like really a heightened moment for him. And he kind of botched it by this hate crime hoax. So
go ahead.
I was thinking, so the idea that like he's kind of been suffering and that he needed to, take some time away to go through rehab and fix himself, like a lot of celebrities evidently do. What's that woman who just sang the Star Spangled Banner? She was like,
Oh,
I'm
she's
going
like
to
a country
rehab.
singer or something. I don't know who
And I
she
don't
was.
forget
I
what
never heard of
I've,
her before.
I
But
never heard of her either.
what I think was interesting because again, we're never going to poo-poo someone saying I need some extra help. It was
No.
the thing of like the announcement of it all because you can go to rehab and not tell us about it.
Mm-hmm.
It did feel like it was an attempt to because I remember like they were trying to settle his legal stuff and he ended up
Mm-hmm.
doing some jail time. And part of me was like, I wonder if this statement is coming out in hopes of like lessening the severity of
Mm-hmm.
whatever his sentencing is. I don't think it worked in his favor, but he has been trying to come back. He's been doing some directing here and
Yeah.
there,
Yeah.
like
I think
TV
it's
movie stuff.
I think it's always a PR move. I mean,
Hmm.
that's so cynical, but I always think it's a PR move. You know, like you said, the court case was, I don't know if it's even settled now, right? It was still up in the air. And he was like, well, listen, they can go to the court and be like, he just went to rehab. He's trying to fix his
Yeah.
life, right?
Yeah.
It's a lot of, in his, pile of things, in ways he's trying to rectify the wrong. I think it
Hmm.
looks good.
Yeah. I mean, look, he's trying to fix it himself, but the timing was just immaculate on
It
our
was,
part.
I mean, for real. So next up, Katy Perry. We had an episode on Katy Perry called "From Teenage Dream to Middle Age Snooze." This came out on November 15th of last year, and we reviewed Katy Perry's career, how she went from topping the charts to kind of being a continuous flop, especially when it comes to music. We
Hmm.
also have to give a shout out because she did come out with, I think it's called "Woman's World."
A
She came out
woman's
with
world, and it's bad. The
you
song
know
is
what?
bad.
You know
Do you
what?
like it?
I didn't say that.
Okay, I was like, you said, well,
She's
you
she's
took
her
a
heart
pause.
stopped. Her heart
It
stopped.
really did. I was like, cut the
Um,
cameras.
no, I don't. It's not that I think it's good by any means, but I think it is the music video is of the
Hmm.
same ilk of Katy Perry. It just isn't successful. It's like usually it's like kitschy and she has some kind of joke and she's trying to make this joke about being a feminist by doing this
Yeah,
all of this really anti-feminist stuff mixed
yeah,
in with like masculine stuff and it doesn't really work.
yeah.
And
She's
so I
trying
think
to
it's
do
just
way too many things at once. It feels
yeah, and
like.
the messaging isn't clear, and I think that it kind of is apropos of our episode on her. Like
Yeah,
she's trying to fix it, y'all. She's trying to do a bunch of stuff, but it's just not really working. One of
yeah.
Fran's fixes was to come back with this. What one of Fran's fixes was to come out with a nail collaboration, since any kind of new celebrity retail thing is ripe for
Hmm.
everyone, and sidebar. Franz wants us to mention that Marcy Martin came out with a press-on nail collection. Go ahead,
Yeah,
Marcy Martin.
in the episode, I said like no one's doing press on nails, and then y'all got in the DMs. Y'all said, that's not true. Marseille Martin is doing press on nails because I just think it's a really smart area, and I feel like every celeb has a makeup line and like a
Yeah,
hair care thing. And this is an area where we're not seeing a lot of movement, with the exception of Marseille Martin. So
right.
continue.
Well, and we had one of our when someone came in our DMs or on Instagram. This is a diabetic father. We want to give you a shout out because he said, "I'm not saying Nicki Minaj listens to Let Me Fix It, but I recall Jessica Lee and Delon saying that press-on nails need to make a comeback because Nicki had just came out with Pink Friday nails,
Hmm.
and so we were like." It wasn't necessarily Katy Perry, but Nikki was in the ether being like, she was clairvoyant. She was like,
But it was
I'm
like
feeling something.
it was
Nails.
right after we posted the episode November 15th, and then she put out the episode November 24th. So
Phew.
to me, it sounds like Nikki is listening. And Nikki, hit us up because we need to fix some stuff for you.
It's so I don't understand. I don't understand any of the drama. I don't. I don't.
Yeah, she just stays in it, and it's very disappointing because she is very talented, but like just a hot
Very
mess.
talented.
Just a mess.
Yeah.
Ready?
Good.
Okay. Next up, we did an episode on Sister Act 2, from box office bomb to certified cult classic. Now this one was like the timing was impeccable.
I mean, it was the next day.
It was the next day. We posted the episode on May 8th. Well, not the next day, but we posted on May 8th, and then June 3rd, a month later, Sister Act 2 did a reunion on The View for the film's 30th anniversary. Noticeably, Lauryn Hill was absent from the reunion. Rumor has it that she just made it to the studio 15 minutes ago. Sorry, I had
Well
to.
played. No, that was good. That was good.
The reunion was incredible. Thank you to
Yeah.
everyone that sent us clips from it. It was so like the nostalgia factor, but also like everybody sounded so good, and like it was fun seeing Whoopi get back into character, and like
Hmm.
it just like really spoke to my millennial heart. And I have decided that we manifixed this. We didn't know, I didn't even know it was the 30th anniversary, and that it was
No.
so right around the corner from when we put out our episode.
But I think so. There's something to be said about like where we are as millennials. I think we
Mm-hmm.
are like, if it were, the moons and the suns and the stars, the rotation of the planet. I think we are cresting where we're
Mm-hmm.
looking back and going like, I really missed that thing, and that's why our
Yeah.
show is so timely, and that's
Yeah.
probably why we're making a lot of these predictions because people are going, remember when we really liked In Sync? Remember
Mm.
when we liked Justin Timberlake?
You have
Um,
a good point. I think it's probably also because millennials, a lot of us are, we're elder millennials are middle aged at this point.
right.
But also that means that like you have kids, maybe you have a little bit more disposable income.
Yes.
You wanna let loose on the weekends. You wanna reminisce. The world is a fucking shit show, and it's nice to
Mm,
like go back to a simpler time. And so you're
yeah.
right. We're picking up on these topics on the show, and then in the zeitgeist, brands and like executives are going, we got to hit the millennials. You know what the millennials
Yeah.
want? A reunion on The View. They're watching this shit. You know what I mean? Like
Right, right.
it's so funny how that works.
Well, and also these celebrities who are also millennials, who are maybe a little bit older than us, Christina
Mm-hmm.
Aguilera,
Mm-hmm.
like NSYNC, like JC Chasez, who we're about to talk about, they're also being like, what am I doing? What? Or Katy Perry's like, what am I doing? Like, how am I going
Yeah.
to stay fresh? They're also creative people, so they need to make money because it's their job, but they're creative people. So like, what else can I do? They're flexing their
Mm-hmm.
muscle and being like, let me tap into the nostalgia of my catalog or whatever, or
Yes.
my own power as a celebrity and try to do
Mm-hmm.
something else.
No, it's so
JC
true.
JC Chasez is one of them. I know we're going to talk about NSYNC in a second, but we also have to mention that we love JC Chasez. We think it should have been JC, to use Fran's phrase. But he came out with Meow Mix as like a little bit of a joke right after
Yeah.
we had our episode about him and NSYNC on September 20th. And I thought like that was such a kitschy way
It was so
to like
smart.
say he's still here. It's funny. It's interesting. He writes
He's poking
music.
fun at himself a little bit.
Right, right. And
Yeah.
why not? It was such a cute way to do it. But after that episode, we also saw In Sync. They announced that they were going to be the guests on the Hot Ones, and it was kind of rumored that there was a little bit of a tour, a little bit of a reunion album
Mm-hmm.
thing happen. It never materialized. We're still waiting for it. But we were on the forefront of both of those things, talking
Yeah.
about In Sync. What happened to JC? Oh, he's doing
We
Meow Mix commercials.
just to drive it home, we put out the episode on September 20th. They were announced as the guest on Hot Ones for September 21st.
Crazy.
Like, come on. It's like literally the next day, suddenly. And it's like, we just picked JC as a topic that we just knew we wanted to do from day one. The
Right.
timing could have been at any time. We didn't know when we were going to put the episode out. But again, it just keeps happening. To your point about the musicians that are also millennials, I recently saw that Ashley Simpson has been performing because it's the anniversary of her debut album, Pieces of Me. So now
Oh.
she's out here. She only has 2 albums, and she's out here hitting the gay clubs, backing track up real high, doing a jig out
I
there,
thought you were
reminding
going to say.
us.
I was going to say it's the anniversary of her SNL performance. Because
No.
I mean,
I don't know
listen.
what the date was, but you know what? But to the same point, if she made a joke about that,
That's what I'm saying. I was going to say lean into it. Don't
oh
run away
yeah,
from it.
oh
Like
yeah,
make a whole video about it. Go back on SNL and do the
Mhm.
same song or something. I
Or
don't
just do
know.
a review of it, or just do a review of the experience. Like talk about like the real story that you didn't know about what happened, because again, like when you watch the clip, and we have not covered this on the show, but we probably should. When you watch the clip, it's not that embarrassing, and like so many musicians lip sync nowadays. Most pop stars lip sync, but for whatever reason, folks decided that she was persona non grata, as Delon would say, and they were so upset about it.
Well,
And
I think I
you know,
think it was her. I think it's the way she responded to it, like the
sure.
jig of it all, right?
And she
Versus
threw
like
the band under the bus. She said that it was her
yes,
band's fault when it wasn't.
yeah, and I also think, to your point, everyone sings with a backing track,
Mhm,
oftentimes, especially in
mhm.
that context, just to make like you don't know what the sound's going to be like,
Oh,
especially
and
if
then
you're like Jennifer
SNL studio is
Lopez.
terrible.
Yeah, if you're for Jennifer
Yeah.
Lopez, if you're an okay singer, like you're gonna be like, oh, I need
Mhm.
something anyway.
Mhm.
And to your point, even when you're doing a big stadium, unless you're Beyonce, right?
Mhm.
Odds are you're singing to your own voice,
Yeah.
right?
Yeah.
Or backup singers. The backup singers are singing the bulk of it, and you're just singing on top of them.
Mhm. Mhm. You want to take this one?
Oh, sure. So one of the other episodes we really wanted to talk about was Lauryn Hill, and we named this one "Too Much, Too Late." It was released on April 10th this year, 2024. This is the Manifix. This same week, it was announced that the Miseducation of Lauryn Hill, her only album, one of my favorite albums, would be inducted into the Grammy Hall of Fame. Thank you to Corey on IG for letting us know. And you know what? Congratulations, the house down to Miss
Mhm.
Lauryn Hill, because nobody in the history of music has one album that is this celebrated. One
Yeah.
album.
I mean, and if there is something to be said for like, go out on top. You're like, well, this one was really good. I guess I don't need to give you another one. But I
Yeah,
think it was the thing of like, to your point, it's just so rare. It's so, so rare.
yeah.
The album has been so celebrated. Corey sent us this message on Instagram and it says, how does this happen to you every single time you two do an episode? And I wish I knew because I would like to manifest some personal Francesca stuff, some
Well,
financial stuff.
you know what? I'm gonna buy you a big old a white afro for Christmas. That's what I'm gonna get you. Maybe that's a special sauce.
We also did an episode on Little Bow Wow. He's flying commercial just like you. This was a very recent episode. We put it out on July 3rd, and a classmate over on Instagram let us know that Little Bow Wow was hosting a 2000s block party this summer after seeing it advertised on Facebook. Now, the party was on July 12th. We
Wow,
put out our episode on July 3rd. Now,
that's
again,
crazy.
I feel like I broke a record here, but what is it that we are doing that because nobody was thinking about Little Bow Wow? Who was thinking
Nobody was
about
talking
him
about
hosting a
him.
party?
No, and you know what's funny? I saw this advertised right after it was sent to us, or you sent it to
Hmm.
me. I saw this advertised on the New York City subway, and I was like, "Well, there he go.
It's
Well, there
following
he
you.
go." I know,
I,
I
you
know.
know what? I hope there's like an ad executive somewhere that's got a picture of you and I up on a wall, and he's like, "What would Francesca and Delon think about
Yes.
this brand?"
And or listen, listeners class, we always talk about send us your things you want to fix.
Hmm.
Celebs, if you want something fixed, come on with it because evidently we are the special sauce.
We really have a knack for just like picking the right topics, picking the right moments.
The
Like
right
how,
moment.
yeah,
We are the moment,
we
friend. We
are.
are the
We
moment.
are.
The next episode that we wanted to talk about is TGIF, the house that Urkel built, which we went through this episode. It's one of my favorite episodes. Went
Mm,
through a lot of the shows that were on TGIF, a lot of the theme songs. Our class, you seem to really enjoy them. That episode came out on March 24th of this year. The Manifix happened on April 30th. Come on, like less than a month
literally
later.
less than a month later.
Jaleel White then announced an upcoming memoir called Growing Up Urkel, which was set to be released November 2024, so in a few months here. Someone also let us know that, sent us a screenshot, of him promoting it. Someone also sent us a screenshot of him promoting an upcoming Purple Urkel marijuana line with Snoop Dogg. He's dressed as Urkel in his purple jacket with Snoop Dogg
I
behind
feel like he's
him.
gonna get a cease and desist. He is not allowed to be out here being Urkel. He didn't
Well,
create the
Well,
character.
that's a question, right? Like, is in his contract, can he go out and do that? Can
I
they
don't
sue
know.
him for that?
It's a really good question because on the website it said, well, I found a press release that said Jaleel White, the actor famous for his role as Steve Urkel in the 1990s sitcom Family Matters, is launching a cannabis brand called It's Purple through a partnership with 710 Labs. The line will feature variants of the strain Purple Urkel. The press release said that it was going to release on 4/20/2024, which is a very cute date, but the website still says under construction coming soon summer 2024. So I wonder if there is some problem with this
Oh,
name and branding because like the Purple Urkel logo is a little drawing of his face, which again, like you can't copyright the face, but like the glasses, the like I don't know, maybe the copyright holders of it, do they want to be associated with marijuana? Like I don't know.
Yeah, I don't know. It's really interesting. I think it's so hard when like you are Urkel, like
Yeah.
if you are that character, the idea that you don't have some kind of right to realize it in some respect. But I guess like it depends on who wrote it, right? Who created that character?
Yeah.
Was it if it was ABC and then ABC owns it? One of the other things I want to talk about is the cover of
The
Growing Up
book.
Urkel. The cover of the book, it is Jaleel White in this white suit and a gold like a silk shirt, leaned out on a couch. He looks like Stefan Urkel, who was his counter Urkel character. But it's actually funny. It's actually a really, really funny picture.
He's
And I
making
think,
like bedroom eyes. He's like
yeah,
sultry.
it's like the counter Urkel, which I think is really funny to like poke fun at it.
Mm-hmm.
I'm a big not Audible listener, but I listen
Mm-hmm.
to audiobooks on Spotify. So I might not read it, but I might listen to it while I'm on a
Yeah,
treadmill.
so my question is, you like the cover? Is that what you're saying?
I don't. I think it's funny. I don't think it's bad.
I
You
don't
think it's
like it.
bad?
I don't
Why
like
don't you
it.
like it?
Uh, I feel like if you're gonna name it "Growing Up Urkel," and this might be counterintuitive to what I just said, I just don't feel like I don't feel like the cover tells me anything about his journey as trying to leave Urkel behind or how being Urkel impacted his life. I just this version of him like doesn't really impart to me anything of the story. I don't know. It feels strange to me. It feels disconnected from the title, if that makes sense.
Uh, no, I hear you. I think it's poking fun. I think it's. I look at it and go, ew. I think it's funny, right?
Mm-hmm.
I don't take it seriously. And I think
Yeah.
Urkel being comedic. And I mean, to your point about Purple Urkel and can he actually use the
Right.
persona of Urkel? Maybe he wanted to steer away from that.
Yeah. I mean,
And
I'm not saying he needed to be dressed up as Steve Urkel, but like I don't know. Like I don't know. I don't know what it might be, but like bad pitch, like the red glasses. If he's like throwing the red glasses in the trash can or something like that. You know what I mean? Or he's like the dangling off his finger or something. Or even if he's not wearing the outfit of Urkel, but like Urkel wore suspenders. Like is there a cool version of suspenders
But
that he
I
could
would
be
argue
wearing?
it's
I
not
don't know.
about Urkel. It's about him growing up Urkel. So it's about
Yeah.
Jaleel White, and it's a memoir of his life as it. So I think for me that'd be a little too on the nose of like,
Yeah, and
oh,
again, this is me
sure,
truly like
heard.
talking out of my ass. I just think when I look at this cover, to me, it doesn't really give me personal insight into like the title beyond the title. I don't feel like the book communicates to me what I'm going to learn about his journey as growing up Urkel. But again, his name alone might sell it for people, and they don't care what the cover looks like. But like to me, I don't know. It just feels dated, I guess.
Hmm.
I can do this one.
Yep.
We also did a review of Look Who's Talking. The Egg is Silent. We released this February 28th. We went on this whole tangent about how hot John Travolta was in the film, along with the fact that it was like very different from the John Travolta that we remember from the 2014 Oscars when he got Adina Menzel's name wrong. And then Days later, March 2nd, Adina Menzel posts Happy 10th birthday, Adele Dazeem, on her TikTok and Instagram. Delon,
Oh.
days later. And like, again, love her for poking fun at this moment. Like, no one remembered that it was the 10-year birthday of this moment, but she
Right.
remembered.
Right.
Shout out to whoever's on her team because I doubt
Right.
she didn't do that on her own, but it was very cute.
It was like again, it was a way to make fun of the thing or way to make a joke of the thing, way to
Mm-hmm.
laugh first or
Mm-hmm.
remind us of the laugh, right?
Yeah.
Like I think there's stuff it takes a lot of the sting about the thing away or a lot of the criticism about the thing away to go like,
Mm-hmm.
wasn't that funny? Let's laugh
Yeah.
at that thing, you know?
And it's been
But
10 years. You shouldn't be annoyed about it by now.
no. And to your
Right.
point about I really don't know what the sauce is, but us talking about it flippantly, just in passing,
Yeah.
adjacent to something else, and her coming out with that, it just feels like we are the zeitgeist,
I don't think
right? You know what
and
I mean?
it's crazy, Delon, because if I remember correctly, I don't even think we really had it in the notes. Like it was like a
No,
one line thing that we then went onto a tangent about, and then it
yeah,
got into the episode, so it felt extra eerie.
yeah. I mean, I'm still calling you Miss Cleo. Like, I don't know what that is, but we have it for sure. The next episode we're going to talk about is one of our round robin games episode. We call this one "Professional Shade and Endless Shrimp." It was released on let's see, May 29th. The Manifix was crazy. In July, Flavor Flav said, "Let me fix it," buying an entire Red Lobster menu and promoting it on his IG. And then Red Lobster has since teamed up with Flavor for Special Flav's Faves menu, which is crazy. I didn't. So what's crazy to me, friend, is I think this was like we're talking about. Maybe this was your glow up or your something
Well,
about
this was one of my round robin fixes was that
because it was going
Red
bankrupt.
Lobster filed for bankruptcy,
That's right.
and we had a whole conversation about how they should. I think they should lean into the biscuits and just be
Mhm.
biscuits first, hold the seafood, and this was one of those ones where like a lot of people were talking about it, but I thought it was more interesting that Flava Flav, a very random celebrity that like no shade, who's thinking about him, he stepped up to the plate and said, "I want to do something." And Red Lobster decided to collaborate with him. And I thought that was really funny and weird, but also like, I think we should get credit for that.
Hell yeah! If we're talking about fixing things, and again, our tentacles are deep; they run deep.
Not tentacles because of Red Lobster.
Maybe.
Okay.
Evidently, you're not supposed to eat octopi because they're so smart.
Yeah, they
And
are really smart.
I was watching. I'm a dork, and I watch David Attenborough documentaries on like the planet and animals and
Hmm.
stuff. And this is one I watched. I think it was last night called Blue Planet 2,
Hmm.
and I was watching this thing about octopuses, and I'm like, I'm
I think it's
octopusy.
octopi.
I said
Isn't
octopi first, yes,
it?
octopi, and I was like, oh shit, these motherfuckers are really fucking smart.
They're really smart.
Like the things that eat them, they were like really not only changing like their skin and all this stuff, but like really outsmarting them. One of them took
Hmm.
a bunch of shells and made itself into a crustacean. The fish was like, where'd it go? Where? It was
Yeah.
brilliant.
Supposedly when you have them in captivity, you have to really make sure that they're where
Oh,
you keep them
covered.
are well taken care of and like secured, because they can open things.
They'll
Like
get
they'll
out.
use their little arms, they'll get out, they'll run around the office, they'll be typing on the computer, having a good old time on Tinder,
Nuh-uh.
meeting people on Craigslist, and then they'll go and get back in the tank
And you'll be like, what
before they
happened to my
come.
banana?
You
I
like,
had a
what
banana on
is
his
my
desk.
shit all over the place? We also had another round robin episode called Nobody Wins the iPad. This was our very first one. We released it on my birthday, November 29th, because we talked about turning 40 in the episode. We felt like it was timely. So here's what's really wild. We moved this episode to coincide with my birthday. The same episode, in that episode, I shared that Subway was my glow up because I randomly ate a Subway sandwich and I was like, holy shit, this was banging.
Hitting.
It was so good. So the same day, not even the same week, the same day that we posted the episode, Subway announced plans to launch a foot-long chocolate chip cookie. I put the press
I'm
release in here because I
salivating.
couldn't believe it came out on November 29th. A foot-long cookie? Listen, the cookies are bomb. A foot-long is
Banging.
incredible. And I'm so mad that even though I bookmarked this in my notes, I never went and got one, and
Ah,
they're not there anymore.
oh, really? It was a short time. Bring it back, Subway. Well, wait. 2 weeks from now, it's going to be back. But
No, we,
two
we need
weeks
to
from now.
use our powers very carefully. We would,
Right.
that's not the thing that we need to bring back. We need some other things
But
first.
I will say this. I think it's smart because when you can get those cookie cakes and then like
Mm,
frosting on it,
yeah,
I think that feels like a low-hanging fix. Why not? Why did it take so long to have a foot-long cookie?
I
I'll buy
don't
that a
know.
second.
Yeah, I mean, and honestly, again, like, this is not sponsored. I love Subway; it's delicious, but the cookies really hit. The cookies really
The
hit,
white
especially
macadamia nut?
they're like a little undercooked. They're very delicious.
Doughy,
So a
doughy.
full foot, Hell yeah, I'm a size queen now.
Well, girl, because you got a size 11, so you know.
Not you put beat my shoe size. No, don't beat my don't
Also, how do I
censor
know
it.
your exact shoe size? How do I know your exact shoe size?
Because we're twins.
Right. This is one of my favorite ones. So this fanfics, the Princeton Review shared ubiquitous as the word worth knowing in preparation for the GMAT. So this is also
Hmm.
shady. Because Fran put this in here because she wants me to know that I use SAT words. So girl, I see you, but I
Hmm.
raise you in that it tells me that the Princeton Review thinks I'm intelligente.
I
Okay.
mean, come on. I mean, it was very funny that we joke about this being an SAT word and they post it for the GMAT. Shout out to Vilma over on Instagram for sending this. She says, immediately thought of y'all. Again, the class always stays ready to catch Let Me Fix It references in the wild. And
I
then,
just want to give
okay.
the actual definition of
Oh,
ubiquitous
oh my
because
God, please.
because Princeton Review has it here, and I just think we all should know it.
Okay.
Present, appearing, or found everywhere. Por ejemplo, the smartphone has become
Why are you
ubiquitous
reading
in
it like
modern
that? Why are you reading it
society
like that?
because that's how you read SAT words. Wait, the smartphone has become ubiquitous in modern society with nearly everyone owning one. Tis
Hmm.
true. Tis quite true.
I don't understand what this voice is. You
She's an
always have
actress.
you clown me about voices, so I had to clown you back. All right, and then the one that we've talked about so many times, and I still cannot get over, is in our premiere acting school episode, September 13th, our very first episode of the pod. We were reminiscing about our favorite memories from school in Jerry's class, and Delana said that Jerry had died. And after recording, we did confirm with our group chat that he was wrong. So we were like, yo, thank goodness we got this in time. We need to edit out the bit about Jerry dying. And
Mm.
then right after we edited, turned out days later, Jerry did actually die.
I mean,
So
within 48 hours. You just heard this last week on our episode with Courtney Harge, our friend, who also was the one who brought it to my attention. She was like, Jerry's alive. And I was like, what? So R.I.P. Jerry, we will have this memory forever. Now, if he comes back from the dead, if it becomes a Walking Dead situation, you really know we have some powers.
now it's time for everyone's favorite segment, The Glow Up, where we give props to those who've turned themselves around without our help. But first, let's take a quick break. And we're back. This week's glow up goes to us. Let me fix it. I just want to say, like, Delon, I'm just so proud of us. This has been such an incredible experience. And I just wanted to talk about some of the things that we've learned through the process and what we are doing for the show for season 2. So, do you want to
Yeah.
kick us off?
Yeah, in class, we thank you so much, but also like the comments, the praise. I had a friend that sent me a thing today. It was like, I love to hear two Black voices on podcasts. So we see you, and I want to thank you as well. So in August, we're going to take a little break so we can brainstorm. And September, we're going to start recording. So return in October with brand new episodes. We're going to try some new formats.
Mm-hmm.
We have the podcast, we have audio. You've seen our YouTube. We're going to try to do some visual video stuff. But we're going to take a break so that we can come back with something brand new.
Yeah.
And spanking and excited. And please keep in touch. If there's something you want to see as we're going into planning these episodes, please get at us. You know what to do. Let me fix it. At
Yeah.
fixitpod, let me fix it pod at gmail.com.
And we're still going to be very active on social media. I think the thing that I'm really excited about is we started by batching episodes for the show, which was so smart. And I was so glad that we did that. But as life happened, we got to a place where we were having to make episodes every week. And we
Yeah.
crunched the numbers. It takes us about 9 hours
Per episode.
from start to finish to research, to write, to record, and then to edit, and then do post for like the audio and the video for
Yeah.
one episode. And on top of our other jobs, Delon, shout out to you, who's getting ready to start the school year very soon, taking on students and classes, moving. I mean, just we have so many jobs between the two of us. So we
Yes.
were like, we need a little respite from the process, but also time to kind of brainstorm on some new things that we want to do that won't be as heavy of a lift, but
Right.
also will still fit the Let Me Fix It brand. So things like movie reviews, but also like maybe we do a movie live stream where like
Mm.
we get to kind of like talk about the movie in real time with the audience, which I think would be really fun. So many people loved our listener letter episode. So many people are like, oh, I more personal advice. And we're like,
Yeah.
send
Please
it
send
to
it.
us.
Send it.
So more personal fixes. Merch was a thing that we talked about in the Behind the Podcast episode, which I'm excited
Yes.
about. And your girl has really doubled down on the TikToks. And I really
You really
feel
have.
like I really love the clips that I post of us on TikTok. They're always really fun. They don't always do as well as I would like them to. And so I'm
Mm.
really trying to figure out like what's our like mini doc version of Let Me Fix It for TikTok.
Mm.
So stay tuned because that definitely will be coming and we're really excited about it.
Yeah, and like you mentioned to me just like off mic, maybe it's not talking heads, maybe it's not
Hmm.
seeing us, maybe it's some
Hmm.
kind of other video visual stuff. So, as per usual, class, if you have a suggestion, get at us at fixitpod. Let me fixitpod at gmail.com, especially if it's something you want to see and you have an idea of what you would want to see on TikTok. Wait, here's a question before as we're wrapping up here: is TikTok still alive? Is she about
Yeah.
to die?
Yeah. I
What is the
mean,
legislation on that?
if so supposedly they did vote to ban TikTok, but it's going to take about a year. And TikTok supposedly is trying to fight it and take it to the Supreme Court, which I don't know if that
Oh,
means that it's going to still be here. But again, if and when we lose it, it's not happening tomorrow. It'll be about a year from now.
okay, great.
Excuse me. So it is still here. And I think that they really are potentially trying to find someone to purchase it because that was kind of like the out. It was either
Right.
like you
Get
sell
an
it to an
American
American.
company to,
Yeah.
yeah.
So I don't know if that's actually a possibility or not, but again, it hasn't happened yet. And until that day comes, what I'm about to be doing is pumping this content out.
Because if anybody's pumping it out, friends on it 8 day all day. And
Hmm.
I know some of y'all are too, because I see you commenting on all of her stuff when I watch it, because
Yeah.
sometimes it comes out, sometimes you just get in the rabbit hole.
Oh, yeah.
Um, but continue to be on on our Instagram, excuse me, continue to be on our Instagram, continue to be on Fran's TikTok, because we always want to hear from you. And like I said before, if you have a suggestion for a TV show, celeb, brand we should fix for a future episode, you know what to do at FixitPod. Email us at letmefixitpod at gmail.com.
And do not forget, we have a YouTube channel. I see y'all commenting on it. During our break, I'm going to be posting old episodes of the pod that aren't up yet. So please go and watch those and see our faces. YouTube.com/@ fix it pod. And if you enjoyed this episode, please be sure to give us a rating on iTunes, Spotify, Amazon Music, or your favorite podcast app. I'm Francesca.
I'm Delon.
And
And
this
this
was.
was.
Do you remember doing a show? He's like, I'm on the break already. Bye.
No,
Well,
when my brain was literally like, oh gosh, it's gonna be a minute before we. Just getting like in my head and like a
oh, okay.
little
The nostalgia
sentimental.
already.
Yeah, a
Okay.
little
All
nostalgic
right.
because
Well,
that's
don't
me.
worry. We will see you in 2 very short months. So enjoy your summer break. We will see you soon. This was
Let
Lemony
me fix
Fix It.
it.